right, what we're going to be talking about is surface area. What do you think of when I tell you surface area?
The top. The top. The base area.
Oh, I thought you were saying the top of my board. What word comes to mind? Surface area.
Top area.
Top
base
area.
area.
Area? Does area come to mind?
No.
Like area that you kind of, I do. How do you find area? Typically length times width, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So up until now you've found area of two-dimensional things, just flat things. So a square, if you find the area of a square, you're finding the area of a flat thing. Surface area is the total covering on 3D shapes. So we're dealing with three-dimensional shapes. So for example, it would be like wrapping a present. So surface area is like wrapping a present. So if I took this tissue box, am I filling the inside of it? No. Filling the inside would be what?
Putting stuff in it.
But like what would it use? Perimeter, area, volume.
Volume.
Volume. Okay, if I fill something, I'm using volume. Surface area, I'm wrapping the outside. And because it's three-dimensional, I'm wrapping the top and the bottom and every single side, right? Like a wrapping present.
Wait, so like perimeter of a 3D object?
No.
Area.
Area, because perimeter would just be like tracing the edges. And I'm like covering. So area is covering. Alright, before we dive in, there's two types of surface area. There's lateral surface area and total surface area. So, lateral surface area is, we're going to say the area of our faces. So the area of the faces. So if lateral is just the faces, we can assume that total would be the faces and the faces. So the whole shape. Oh, well, a base is a face, but a face isn't a base. Disregard. Alright. So we're going to look at three different types of shapes today. We're going to look at something called a rectangular prism and a triangular prism. And then we're going to look at a cylinder. Cylinder's brand new. Alright. So looking at the rectangular prism, what's the difference between these two shapes?
One is flat.
One is flat, the other one is 3D. So, would you say that this is the unfolded version?
Yes.
And then if I push these sides up, fold that in, it would wrap it and it would become the three-dimensional object, right? Okay, so we call the unfolded, I would refer to the unfolded as the net figure. So that's my net figure. You'll mostly be given the like total three-dimensional figure. I'm about to square up and box both of you. I'm seeing who the problem was now, Skylar. She really keeps talking to Rob. I'm seeing you took all the blame this whole time. Alright, looking at this net figure, because the net figure are going to be easier to see my faces and bases. How many sides does this have?
6.
Alright, so a rectangular prism has 6 sides. And what comprises those 6 sides are 2 bases, 2 rectangular bases. And your bases are going to be whatever is like flat on the ground. Does that make sense? So this would be the bottom, and this is where your highlighter. This is where I would highlight if you didn't pick up that cue.
I did.
So did Taylor. So then this up here would be my base, and this below would be my base. So whatever's touching the bottom, and then what runs parallel. Those would be my bases. So I have two rectangular bases, and I would consider the what's left a face. So how many faces do I have?
4.
4. And your face is what's facing outward to the world. So then I have 4 rectangular faces. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, say true and agree. That's all that I worry about in life.
Me too.
Are we golden?
Yeah.
Are you still writing? Alright, I'm moving. Alright, so a triangular prism. So what do you think the bases, well, our bases here are actually, beep boop beep, the triangles.
Oh yeah. The main, because that's what the shape is supposed to be.
Yes, that's the, so it starts as a triangle, then it extends. Does that make sense? Whereas this started as a rectangle and extended upward. It starts as a triangle and extends backward. How many sides does my triangular prism have?
5.
5. So it has 5 sides. And 2 triangular bases. The bases are going to be important to know what shape the base is. And 3 rectangular faces. So then this is a base and this is a base. Are we vibing?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so let's look at some formulas. Now, there's 2 types of formulas for prisms. And when you look at your beautiful star chart that I so graciously handed to you, I want to look at where, so it's the area category, right? Surface area.
Here.
And it gives me 2 different categories under surface area. What do they say?
Prism and cylinder.
Prism and cylinder. What are we dealing with right now?
Prism.
Prism. So I got rectangular prism and triangular prism, but they're both a prism. Alright, what is the formula? So which one's this the formula for? Lateral or total?
Lateral.
Alright, so lateral. And your lateral is just the faces. Okay, and the next one would be our total. So that piece to it isn't hard because you can look on your star chart. The hard piece is knowing what the letters are abbreviated for. So if I look, so I have S equals PH and S equals PH plus 2B. What do you think P would stand for in this geometrical situation? What's the most basic thing you learn?
Base.
What's the, we're thinking basic. What's the most basic geometric thing you learned in 3rd grade, 4th grade?
Base.
Prism.
Did not.
You don't know that in 3rd grade?
Anyone? Okay.
Head.
Pentagon. Oh, you're talking about P.
P.
Persistent.
Perimeter.
Perimeter, oh my gosh!
Oh.
Ah.
Persistent?
I thought you were
Really?
talking
So here's where we want to pay attention to the perimeter of the base.
Hey, I said base.
So not perimeter of the whole figure. I want to find the perimeter of the base.
I just want to say I did not
Also-
in
hey, also
3rd
it's
grade.
a good-
I didn't know
Who could it be at
like
this
5th
hour?
grade.
I just feel like saying that.
What?
Julius.
So you don't have your binder to carry it with.
Julius. Oh, that was for your sister.
Alright, perimeter of the base. H would stand for
Height.
height
of the triangle.
of the base.
Ja.
Another one missed.
Base is B. It has to be. Base of the prism.
Alright, so P stands for perimeter of the base, just the one perimeter. H is the height of the base. Alright, and actually I want to clarify. Is there a difference between those B's?
Yes.
What?
Capital.
Capital. Okay. This one needs to be capital. Because when it's a capital B, that means
Base of the base.
it's the base of the, have you heard this talk before?
Base of the
No.
face.
Yes, you have.
How?
No? Okay.
What? How?
Deja vu.
Area.
Because it's perimeter of base, the height of the base.
It's going to be your area of the base. So when you have a capital B given to you in a formula, that means the base has already had your length times width multiplied together. So if you have a little b, you're finding the length times the width. If you're given a capital B, that means you need to find the area and plug it in as it's already been solved.
How do you get area from B?
That's a
It's
S.
a
I know.
rectangle.
No, like area from B, like perimeter for P,
Base.
height for H, and an area for B.
Base.
Alright,
Tricky.
let's scroll down to the most fancy cylinder. Alright, a cylinder is a spherical with two circles on the top. How many sides do you see?
One.
3.
Three? Three?
Zero.
Top, bottom, middle. So 3 sides. Alright, and your circles are the bases here. So it's 3 sides composed of 2 circular bases. Highlight, highlight, highlight.
Oh wait, I scribbled it.
Even my scribbles are aesthetic.
Alright, but you didn't have to trick me with the whole
What's
did you
aesthetic?
hear this talk thing.
Aesthetic is like
I'll tell you after I stop recording.
what is that?
They don't need to hear all of our side conversations. They need to come to school for those. Alright, and then, so what I'm going to call, instead of saying the one face, I would call it a lateral face. So it has one lateral face. So finding just that finds the lateral surface area. Alright, now looking at formulas. Formulas are given to you on your star chart. So you told me that surface area section was broken into 2 things, prisms and cylinders, yes?
Yep.
This represents which formula?
Lateral.
Cylinder.
Lateral.
Lateral. But still cylinder lateral.
Lateral cylindrical formula. Alright, so the other one would represent the total of a cylinder.
Cylindrical total.
Cylindrical total. Alright, now here's the hard piece. The formulas are not hard because all we have to do is plug numbers in. But we do need to know what those letters represent. 2 stands for 2. What's this fancy guy?
Pi.
Pi. What is pi? We shorten it to be.
314.
So if you're not, so pi is actually an irrational number, meaning it will never end and it does never repeat its digits. And pi's true meaning is, so the outline of a circle, the perimeter of a circle, is called its circumference. And the circumference and radius always make a ratio that calculates to pi. That's where we get pi from. It's the ratio of the circumference to the radius. Just for funsies. What do you think R would stand for?
Radius.
Radius, which we're going to talk about what that word means.
not the one that you started with.
And then H stands for
Height.
of the
Base.
Circle.
base.
Base.
Yeah.
Height of the base that extends from the circle.
Yeah. So I actually had it right, technically.
No, I don't think so.
Alright.
Because this is only for a cylinder, so it would only be a circle base, so it should be height of the
What is
circle.
half of?
He's deflecting all the wrongness. Alright, one more thing I want to look at right there. So, this little 2 is an exponent of 2, right?
Yes.
So that represents your radius
Squared.
squared. Alright, so now you should have some empty space under here, right?
A little bit.
Enough?
Maybe.
Alright, actually I'm going to go one at a time. Alright, so when I have a circle, here would be the center of the circle, right? And if I extended
So
from
radius is half.
from edge to edge, the line that connects from midpoint to centers, that represents the diameter of the circle. Diameter. And did we use diameter in any of our circle vocabulary, prisms, formulas?
Last
No.
year.
Well, not currently. So when I make a circle and I create the midpoint, your radius is the halfway mark. It's the midpoint to the outer edge. So your radius will always be just from the center to the edge of your circle. What relationship do you see between the radius and the diameter?
They both go across.
They both go across. What were you saying earlier, Antoine?
Radius is half the circle.
The radius is half the circle, or the radius is half of the diameter? So in some situations, they're going to give you the diameter, and you have to be conscious to know, nope, I only need half, okay? So when you're given the full circle length across the whole thing, you'll need to take half of it. If you're given just the half, then you're sitting pretty, and you take that value and plug it in. Ready?
Yeah.
Are you just loving my lesson today?
Yeah.
I love your
Imagine I was
enthusiasm.
sitting where Julie is.
I don't think Antoine is.
I was literally the only one that said yeah. So.
No, I also think no.
Do you clip your recordings of our lessons?
No.
You don't clip it at all?
No. So my algebra kids have had this conversation with me. They're like, don't you feel awkward like recording your teaching? So like, you know how I've made screencastify videos and things like that? So I used to make way more screencastify videos. You learn, or maybe it's just me, when you make teaching videos over and over and over, it's just easier to just, I don't even listen back to them honestly. Like, you just don't sweat the small stuff essentially. So like
if you hear yourself, then you'll feel.
yeah, then you're like, well, I need to go fix this piece. I need to go fix this piece. And like on my puzzles last year, and I made little mistakes here or there. There was one time it backfired though, because I made an ed puzzle for like our 5th grade team when I was with Miss Morgan and Miss Diaz and Miss Thompson. And like I make videos and I just upload and process and publish, and we got to PLC one day and it didn't have sound to it, so I never like fact checked. So I at least watch 3 seconds to make sure the sound works, because I've been burned by my mistakes. Oh, I need to pull up the next week. But no, I don't clip them. I just
Go with the flow.
go with it.
Oh, my pen stopped working.
Oh
Still
no.
inking.
Prism intro day. Alright, so let's look at the 3 different situations. Alright, so first things first, we are looking at a
Prism.
what kind?
Rectangle.
There we go. Name it on the line. rectangular prism. Alright, and with rectangular prisms, the base is whatever is sitting on the floor, right? Okay, so I would highlight, this is my base, and the other base runs parallel to it, so it would be the top. So if I were to highlight on the net, which of those sides or faces would I highlight as a base on the net?
The one with the 18 and then the one with the 14.
19. The 9-inch one.
The 9-inch ones, because if I folded these two sides up, that's going to be sitting on the floor. You see it? And if I fold this side in, and this side in, this side will sit above.
That makes up the side.
Alright, so let's work to find our total. Because if you look at the difference between lateral formula and total formula, lateral is pH, and then total is one step more. So you have to find lateral to find the total, right?
Yes.
Alright, we're going to find the total. So what is my formula for total surface area? Anyone?
pH plus 2B.
Alright, so P stands for?
Perimeter.
Of the?
Base.
Alright, so what I'm going to do, if this side is 18, that means this side is 18, correct?
Yes.
This side is 9, that means this side is 9.
Yes.
So, humor me and draw this on your notes. 9 plus 9 plus 18 plus 18. And type it in your calculator or do mental math, but if you're going to tell me your mental math, say it correctly. I had a lot of random answers shouted to me in second period.
54.
Did you prove it, Damien? 54? Okay. Okay, so my perimeter is 54. Now my height, so my height is as easy as I would see it. My height would be
14.
okay. And my base,
The area.
it's the area of the base. So when I'm using a capital B, that means it's using this times this already. So 18 times 9. So my base is going to be the
18.
length times width multiplied.
162.
Do y'all agree with Antoine?
I
Check him.
calculated it.
He could have mixed a number up.
Like you did last time.
Yeah.
That's I did mental math last.
160.
I did.
Alright, you agree with Antoine?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Do you notice I'm finding each piece before I plug it into a formula? You notice that?
Yes.
Alright. So, I love to rewrite my formulas for funsies. Alright, so my perimeter was 54.
Yes.
And me personally, anytime I have letters, I'm going to separate with parentheses. Because that tells me I'm doing what operation?
Multiply.
Multiply. So 54 for my perimeter,
14.
14 for my height, plus 2 times what?
162.
162, because I plugged in 162 for my base. Now I'm going to solve it like gems, right?
Yeah.
Jemmies.
Yes.
So I'm going to solve my multiplication first. Solve it and hold it up. When you have it, don't be a blurter.
I'm gonna blow it.
Don't be like Antoine. Don't be a blurter.
Solve the whole thing?
No, 54 times 14. What'd you get, Julius? Okay. And then 162 times 2?
Oh, 324.
324, do we agree?
Yes.
And then the sum of 556 plus 324?
1080.
1080?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's look at this. Get your highlighter for me. I like your preparedness. I want you to highlight. I'm gonna get my highlighter. You're more prepared than me. I I want you to highlight out of this the S equals pH all the way down like that. Why did we highlight that half of the formula? Got a Jolly Rancher. Why did we highlight just that?
Because that's the
That's a volume.
That's a perimeter.
Finish
The
your
height.
thoughts, Adrian.
that's the lateral.
That's the lateral. Alright, so to find the total, you have to find the lateral. So if I were to write this out to the side, so the lateral surface area was what?
1,756.
Inches squared. So surface area will always be squared inches. And our total was what?
1,080. Squared.
Inches squared. What time do you leave me? 22?
Yep.
Alright. We'll lock it up at this. Alright. You can go ahead and pack up, please. Put my highlighters back.
Actually, it's kind of fun.